everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. So you've probably seen me do a lot of videos in regards to the multiverse and what that means for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, this concept also applies to DC and all the stuff they're doing over there at the DC Films world with Warner Brothers and all the movies and TV shows they're doing over there. They're applying the same sort of concept here. But this video is going to be in regards to what it is going to mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, because basically all this is coming about lately because of what happened in Loki Season 1. So just so you know, I will be going into a little bit of spoiler territory in regards to the finale of Loki Season 1. So if you don't want to know anything that happened in the finale of Loki Season 1 or Loki Season 1 in general, I recommend you check out now, then come back and check out this video after you've seen the season. So Loki Season 1 just wrapped up on Disney Plus about a day or so ago. And many people have seen it at this point. And a lot of people have questions about what does the multiverse mean? And what does it mean in regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe itself? So let's take a look at an image here that I made up that had the visual image of the sacred timeline branching off into multiple branches at the end of Loki Season 1. This is obviously the image taken right from the show that has the timeline, and it's branching off into multiple timelines. So what this could mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, of course, if you remember way back in the day before Iron Man 1 starring Robert Downey Jr. that kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we had lots and lots of different Marvel films that really had nothing to do with each other. They kind of told their own stories and stuck to them. And we had some that kind of, interwoven together, kind of like the X-Men films over at Fox. But there were other ones like The Amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, The Punisher starring Thomas Jane. We had Spider-Man starring Tobey Maguire, that trilogy of films. We had Ghost Rider starring Nicolas Cage. The X-Men films that had, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, and then the younger version of the X-Men that had James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. We also had Blade starring Wesley Snipes, who had a trilogy of films himself. That the third film actually had Ryan Reynolds in it, who is our current Deadpool. We also had Daredevil, played by Ben Affleck, and then we, of course, had the spinoff from Daredevil, Elektra, starring Jennifer Garner. And, of course, we have The Defenders, that is a Netflix Marvel Cinematic quote-unquote universe series that kind of was loosely connected to the MCU, but not really. Kevin Feige doesn't really consider it canon to the MCU, much like he doesn't consider, I think, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the most part to be considered canon. They've referenced each other just slightly, but it's not like it really connects. Then, of course, we had the Fantastic Four, which, had obviously Jessica Alba, Ian Grufford, I think is how you pronounce his name, Chris Evans, before he was Captain America, he played Johnny Storm, and Michael Chiklis played The Thing. So we obviously had a bunch of different Marvel films that really didn't tie into now the current sacred timeline, as you might want to call it, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man, the Avengers, Captain America, Thor, the Incredible Hulk with Mark Ruffalo, and many, many more, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and all this sort of stuff. So those films have kind of been put to the wayside for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we know of today. So now what the multiverse gives this opportunity for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel Studios to pick some of these characters and possibly bring them back into movies that we're going to be getting now. Perfect example is, of course, Spider-Man No Way Home, that is going to be hitting theaters in December of 2021. A lot of people online are like, where is the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer? Why haven't we seen a trailer for this movie? Well, the reason I think is because Loki Season 1 had not completed yet, and at the end of Loki Season 1, we get the reveal of the multiverse and the timelines that have been the door's been kicked wide open in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so to speak, for the multiverse to take place. And I think that's going to open the door, literally, for the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, the two Spider-Men that were not involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for their timelines to cross paths with the MCU and join up with Tom Holland in that film. And who's to say we're not going to be getting more crossovers like this in the future? Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness is coming out in March of 2022, which is going to, again, tie into this multiverse storyline that they're doing that began with WandaVision, now Loki, and we're going to get some of that with What If in August, the animated show that's going to be telling these alternate stories from alternate universes universes, and we're going to be getting that bleeding into Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and eventually going into Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And of course, the villain that was revealed at the end of Loki Season 1 is going to be tying into all of this, probably for the next 5 to 10 years in the MCU. He is our next Thanos-level threat for most likely. I mean, that's not confirmed, but it sounds like that's where they're going. So the fact that we could get a lot of these nods from older characters, and we could be getting characters like from the Netflix Defenders, like Charlie Cox as Daredevil, his version of Daredevil could cross over into the MCU. We could be getting Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, probably a recast for Iron Fist most likely if that were the case. John Bernthal as the Punisher. Those characters can now conceivably enter the MCU and interact with the Avengers characters. So we have this incredible opportunity as storytellers and directors and, the production of, the Marvel Studios in general to bring these sort of storylines and ideas to the big screen and the small screen on Disney Plus or whatever it might be. So we can get this interaction between characters and actors that we never thought could be possible. We could conceivably see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine return in an Avengers film. We could see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man team up with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. We could see Wesley Snipes' Blade team up with Mahershala Ali's Blade that's going to be coming down the line. We could see Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Charlie Cox Daredevil on the same screen together. We could even see Chris Evans return as Johnny Storm interact with Captain America that he also plays at the same time. Or we could also be getting the multiverse can be opening up stories that we have yet to be revealed. Like, let's say there could be an infinite number of Iron Man in the universe. There could be an infinite number of Captain America or Thor or any character you could possibly think of. In Loki Season 1, we saw multiple different versions or variants of Loki himself. So we can be getting different versions of characters of, like Tony Stark. Everybody wants Tony Stark to return. For Robert Downey Jr., everybody hated that he passed away in Endgame. We can conceivably see an alternate version played by Robert Downey Jr., or he could be a completely different actor be coming in and also be playing Iron Man because he's from another timeline, another universe, a multiverse. So we could be getting multiple different versions. If Chris Evans doesn't want to play Captain America anymore, we could be getting a new actor come in to play Captain America from another timeline. We could be getting, alternate versions of, like, let's say Thor is a good guy in the MCU that we know him right now, played by Chris Hemsworth. What if there's a Thor in an alternate universe that's evil? We could be getting, I don't know, just off the top of my head, Magneto. We could be, maybe he's more like Professor Xavier in an alternate timeline, and Professor Xavier is the evil of the two who doesn't agree, with, considering humans and wants mutants to rule. Maybe Professor X is that mutant. I don't know. There's all sorts of different possibilities that we could go to. Now, yes, can it get confusing and outrageously crazy? Absolutely it can, but it also could be amazing to watch on film, and I cannot wait to see what the MCU does with it, and I think it's going to be nothing but a lot of fun, and I hope that they do this in such a way that it can be the main central storyline, and of course, eventually it'll probably have to be corrected where it's all back into one singular story, but for the time being, I think, let's just have a ball, let's have fun, and let's see where Marvel Studios wants to take us here, and let's see what they got up their sleeve and the stories they want to tell us. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think about the multiverse being opened up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And DC is going to be doing it as well. Comment down below. Do you think it's not a good thing? Do you think that maybe the multiverse is something that's going to be too convoluted and it's going to lose a lot of general audiences who don't really follow this stuff rather closely? Comment down below. Let me know. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. And until my next video, guys, take care.
Don't